But how do you make meetings work? That is the big question. Performance coach Andrew May is with us now. Andrew?
Francis, I don't think Mike or I can use that excuse. So
No,
we've got to come up with
Probably
some
couldn't
better,
pull it
better tips.
And we won't treat this as a meeting. This is just a chat, okay? So no one
Just a
needs to try to get out of it.
Perfect.
I think we started on time.
Yeah, but there's always a start, right? But I only entered the corporate world about 6 years ago, and I'd been in the world of sport for most of my adult life up until then. I didn't get corporates. Like, why do they start meetings late? Why do they spend up to 30% of their day in meetings, then complain about not having time to spend with their kids and time to do their work? So we've got to turn it upside down, because I'm sure so many people watching this go, yeah, that's my company, that's me. Going into labour might be an extreme example to get out of it, but meetings kill productivity if they're not done well.
And they happen all the time. In my experience, not just at the ABC, of course, but other organisations I'm involved in, they seem to grow in number and size.
Yeah. So, Mike, let's meet. We put in a 1 hour appointment. Why? Because Outlook has 1 hour appointments. Like, it might be 15 minutes. We invite the whole cast. About a month ago, you had Entourage on. Just invite Vinny. You know, sometimes you don't need the whole troupe. So there's lots of simple things. When you look at, like, the corporate world of meetings, that makes sense. But we get sucked into this unproductive vortex. So today, we thought we might give some tips other than going into labour.
Let's bring them up. Well, going into labour is a good one that Francis could use.
I've bagged that one.
You got that one? Yeah. You got wild, though.
Some 5 tips on the screen. Take us through them, Andrew.
Yeah, so the first one is make it personal development, Mike. Like, meetings don't have to be the same people in the same room at the same time making the same non-decisions. I call those Days of Our Lives meetings. You know, you watch Days of Our Lives 3 times all year, you know what's happened. So turn your staff meeting into personal development. So at my company, we have a meeting every Friday. We have about 15 minutes where we have one of our staff who does a presentation, gives an article. So we learn something, and we actually look forward to that as a team. Sometimes we get external people in as well. So, you know, shake it up a bit.
Another big one, which is a real annoyance for me, is meetings not starting on time.
Yes.
Now, my meeting mentor, I have to quote him, is a guy named Steve Rickson, who's a very good Australian cricketer, a wicket-keeper. He was the coach at New South Wales Cricket when I was there. He was then the coach, or the assistant coach at the Aussie cricket team. Stumper was ruthless. So our 8 o'clock meeting started at 8 o'clock. Why? Because really high performance starts with punctuality. So at New South Wales Cricket, it didn't matter whether you were Mark Waugh, Steve Waugh, Michael Slater, Stewie Clark, Brett Lee, Stewie McGill, the name goes on, or a rookie you've never heard of. If they walked in at 1 minute past 8, I won't say exactly what Stumper said, but it'd be along the lines of, Maisie, you take the guys, I'm taking him over here with me and giving him a special warm-up. He would punish them for 15 minutes, high balls running around, half of them would vomit, and paraphrase, he'd say, now go on, join everyone else and don't be late again. But that made a statement that we were on time all the time. End of the corporate world, 9 o'clock meetings, I'd be in boardrooms going, where is everyone?
Yeah.
And you look at the values, honesty, integrity, respecting. These guys haven't read their values.
Yeah, because you're not respecting other people's time and the value that they place on it.
And it's got to get personal, Francis, because if your meeting's 15 minutes late, then we go in there and go, have you got the minutes? No, have you? A coffee order? I remember a couple of months ago, you're a latte, weren't you? You're a latte kind of guy.
I'll drink any coffee, quite frankly.
So then we do the coffee orders, we've got the minutes, and so the 9 o'clock meeting starts at 9:15, and then we're late all day. So start on time, finish on time.
Which leads us to the next one, compressing the size of meetings. They don't always have to be that Outlook inspired, as you say, 1 hour block, do they?
So a number of companies we've worked with now have a 45-minute meeting. And I think this is becoming the default for a lot of smart companies going, why do we need 1 hour meetings? Start on time, have an agenda. Meetings should do 2 things. They should inform or they should engage. So if you're not giving people info and they're not engaged, why do you even have the meeting, let alone go for an hour? And when you have 45 or even 30-minute meetings, it gives you a buffer. We've all been there. You know, you finish one meeting, you run to the next meeting, you're making notes and you're there for 15 minutes, but your mind is still on the previous meeting.
Yep.
Ain't that the case?
And it doesn't always have to be in the boardroom.
Oh, I love this one. Get outside. Shake it up a bit. So a lot of research shows to be creative and to make decisions, get out of the normal environment. And again, it's the Days of Our Lives meeting. You know, you're there, Joan from accounts, present, Mike from finance, present, and you just go through and everyone's like it was in the Office clip. So go to a coffee shop sometimes, go to a museum, go to a beautiful park or sit by a lake or an ocean. It's amazing what it does for engagement. Now, you can't do that all the time. Sometimes you actually have to use those meeting rooms. But especially people watching this in the new open plan or the activity-based work, move around, have different meetings, and research shows it fires the neurons to have different thinking patterns.
The importance of walking and talking is just, as you say, shaking it up, a different way of meeting.
Stanford University did some research on this a couple of years ago, showing that it fires up the neurons, you get more oxygen, you get more glucose to the brain. Otherwise, we sit down on our backsides all day. So you look at anything from The Office to West Wing, it's obviously a problem because we look at this on TV shows and laugh. So it's happening day in, day out. So they are simple tips, but they really work. So I encourage people watching today, especially especially managers, try and shake your meetings up. It doesn't have to be the same as it's always been. You can make them exciting, you can make them engaging.
What time's your first meeting today?
9:30.
And are you late?
I might get on the run. Can we do a segment on the run?
Yeah,
absolutely.
maybe next time. Andrew, as always, great to get your tips coming. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.